Welcome back to the Takeout. Cybercriminals are increasingly using artificial intelligence to expedite what they're trying to accomplish, meaning hack or other things. That is according to the 2025 Threat Hunting Report released this week by a cybersecurity company you might have heard of, CrowdStrike. I sat down with CrowdStrike's Senior Vice President of Counter-Adversary Operations to discuss the report's findings. Listen. Adam, it's great to have you here. It seems like we haven't even gotten to the real positive side of artificial intelligence, and now there's this big downbeat, which is AI in cybercrimes. What have you learned?
Well, okay, it goes both ways. There's definitely some upsides to AI, and you can use it for good, but what we're finding is that threat actors are using it for bad, too. So some of the things that we've noted is that criminals have used it to speed up their operations, to automate a lot of the things that they're doing when they're trying to run ransomware. We've seen nation-state threat actors using it for really advanced stuff. A lot of people, I think, are familiar with disinformation, misinformation, and how you can use generative AI to make fake videos and fake messages. But we're seeing threat actors use it to avoid detection and to really up-level their operations. So they can use prompts and kind of some of the things that you use Gen AI for every day. They can use that to say, profile this computer and find all the interesting files that I want to steal.
And in cybersecurity, you build walls and layers of walls. If I understand what you're saying, AI can speed up the penetrating process to go through or around those walls.
Yeah, and adversaries are picking it up more and more every single day. So what started off, I'll give you a couple of examples. There was a malware we found for mobile devices, and this malware used generative AI and a technology called optical character recognition to go through all of the pictures on your phone to look for keywords. So if you ever took a picture of a document or ever took a picture in front of a restaurant with a particular name or something like that, the threat actors could map those pictures to those words. And that was something we associated with China.
What about North Korea and generative AI to infiltrate companies here?
Yeah, we're seeing that almost every day, literally. In fact, we saw it in the last 12 months about 320 plus times. And what they're doing is they're using generative AI technology like large language models to create LinkedIn profiles, to create resumes, to make them attractive to recruiters. So the recruiter reaches out and says, hey, I have a perfect job for you. And then when they go on to the interview, they're using generative AI to answer the questions. A lot of times with the technical interview, you have to showcase that you know what you're doing, right? You have to do a test or something like that. And one of the interesting things we've seen is that sometimes the person will be talking and their hands will be up, and they'll also be typing on the screen that they're sharing with the recruiter because somebody else is using generative AI to answer the question while they're talking. And then we found deepfake technology, so changing their actual appearance during a video interview so that they look like somebody different than who they are. And then ultimately, when they get that job, they use generative AI to do the job so that they can hold 10, 20, 30 jobs at a time, getting full-time salaries, and then use generative AI to do an entire day's worth of work in minutes and never get caught.
So forgive me if I'm confused. Is this not just a cybersecurity problem, it's an HR problem?
100%, yes. Absolutely. And in fact, we've had to embrace a lot of the HR teams out there and talk to them about how to detect this. Some interesting...
Because they've got to be saying to you, what are you talking about? What?
Yeah.
Go down the hall to my cyber folks.
Exactly.
And you're like, no, it's in your place.
Yeah, you have to be on the lookout. And we've talked to them about just some simple tests. For example, if you ask the candidate to touch their face, if they're using deepfake technology, that'll glitch. They'll be in some sort of artifact. And so if they touch their face, you can or change the light, right? As the light changes, it causes the face to glitch. So we have to train the HR team to actually be on the lookout as kind of the leading indicator that this is potentially a North Korean that's trying to get employment.
What about Russia and Iran? They're also frequently name-checked in cyber threat literature.
Yeah, so Iran has a slightly different kind of approach where we've seen them use Gen AI to reach out. A lot of what they like to do is to find an interesting target and then reach out to them on social media. And so they'll use generative AI to make a profile or make a persona that looks like somebody that you'd want to talk to, right? So they use it, a lot of times they were targeting troops that were deployed, overseas, and they would put on, the appearance of an attractive person to that to that target, and then try to reach out to them and be like, hey, I'd like to talk to you. And just total fake person that this person was talking to. And with Russia, we've seen them integrate into their malware generative AI. In fact, there was just a case where a malicious program or malware was actually reaching out to an LLM, and this is how they avoided detection, right? So when we look for malicious files, we're looking for things that give away what it's trying to do, right? Maybe there's a keyword or something in there. So rather than have keywords or have the program built in, it reaches out to the generative AI and it says, profile the system, or find all the files that are on this and put them into a directory and zip them up so I can exfiltrate them out. So the adversaries are increasingly advancing with this.
30 seconds, I know that's tough. AI can fight AI in this space.
Yes. Yeah, so one of the things that we like to do is to bring the same technology that the adversaries are using to lower the bar for the defenders and to make it more efficient for them, because one of the biggest challenges is that defenders have to be right 100% of the time. Right. The adversary only has to get lucky once. And so the same technology, we have something called Charlotte AI, which enables defenders to be much more efficient and to operate at scale to meet these threat actors as soon as they make access.
Adam Meyers, fascinating stuff. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Great to have you.
Great being here.